We out west with it, where we live illegal, leaning off a leader, riding regal, tipping scales like Libras. Inhale, no L's, pulling out blocks like Jenga. In the rear of a Caprices, Billy Rims, flick your piece and nonetheless, nothing less than tens for the speakers. You'll hear us before you see us with beats that beat the streets up. Yeah. So try and keep up and keep it low key, cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz that's how they see us, thinking we nuts. Cuz we'll die for the ground beneath us, because this land made us. This land made of players that stay on paper. That's how we came up amongst the mayhem to the day when we display what we made of. The game could never change us, the West Side teachers. On these streets where you find that D before G. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got a bit of plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Smell the grind in the air, take a whiff. Only the nose knows the aroma. Compose the money rolls that fold up, holding cold cups. Searching for those that got the purple O's for the $4. And we could go nuts and stay at the stove like grocers, and post up with O's on the table like coasters. That's how the game coached us, made us all in the soldiers. Now that dough is the focus, so know that we own this. Molded by the hood role models, riding good, the latest model, drinking good, raising bottles like we just missed a pothole. You got to know that it's impossible to stop our flow. We've seen it all from watching cops reload 30s a dro while drinking the night away until the block got slow. You'll know as soon as you see us, we the ones laid back in the cut. My demeanor seems to always get me up. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got a bit of plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Yeah, home of the survivor, survival of the fittest in the town. It's wicked, you can J down in a minute. What am? What's the business? The biz is how you down and get it. From Cape Town to Fifth City, the sounds of Fifth's empty. When we tipsy, it's risky. Where the lick be, at least 10 deep. It tempts me, but there's no mystery. Where the chips be, the tips G. Just our history from the 60s. Pimping ain't easy, but we bleed it. This here game is in our veins, in the air we breathe in. Believe this, it's no game, but the key is your mouthpiece, spit your game. But believe, turn nothing into something. We suffer without supper long enough. Struggling from summer to summer, the same place where the dope is sold. It's home to the Oprah show, the same place I know is home. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got a bit of plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into city like the Hawk do. Black Hawk adjustable, keeps my mind thoughtful. Ain't no middleman, I'm the one you need to talk to. If you want a chance, I suggest you make an offer. Making an advance off of who? Nah, you lost, fool. That type of talk, turn you dogs into dog food. Goofy, you a goof. Get your ass out, move. Acting like a woof. You softer than a poop do. Ain't no 50-50, both your options is a lose-lose. I ain't got no love though, laughing while you boo-hoo. I care not for teardrops, the pity that consumes you. Pitiful piece of shit, that's how them dudes do. 415s, fuck around and knock the screws loose. This flow is schizo, your boy gone cuckoo. Yeah, I flew the coop too, you knew I had to get loose. Gun smokes the network, plug you in my Bluetooth. How can I shine if I don't try? If this is really mine, then why must I? Search for a while, it's so hard to find what I'm looking for. I stay in it, I'm on my shit. I can't stop winning, no, I can't quit. Till I make it to the top, till we make the top of the list. Give me my spot, fully aware, living life to the fullest. I'm full of myself. Yes, I earn the right for me to pull it like triggers that trigger bullets. I bully the beat, take downs from bass lines, snatch fails from snares, smack temples on cymbals, hi-hats beware. It sounds so simple, sounded so clear, for real like Real Madrid. I do it for kicks, yeah. Them scary cats are scarier than scared. Make a pioneer near the top of the tier on my square ×2, and I ain't leaving till it's square. With a flair so debonair, debutantes gotta stare, cause I flaunt without a care. Carefully with the air of an heir to the throne, all alone in the chair. In my lair where I lay up, laying another gem. Invisible man, then I reappear. Raise your glass, make a toast, cheers. How can I shine if I don't try? If this is really mine, then why must I? Search far and wide, it's so hard to find what I'm looking for. I stay in it, I'm on my shit. Listen to bottom and pass the drink. Listen to bottom and pass the drink. Listen to bottom and pass the drink. I roll with drapers that keep liquor stores tipping, from Rothschild's 111 to Sunset on Division. Prestige, famous liquors know our names when they see us cheating. Wang and speakers, we came for at least a leader. Peep the procedure, we breeze in. Ante up like MOP then, grab what we need and we ain't leaving till we descend. It's yak in the air and I'm fiending for a fever. That rim thing on my pimp game, preach like deacons. I might tamper with a sample of that privilege. I had a staff grab a half a gallon handle of that vintage XO. Love you dig and we can gamble with them digits. Past the Cavassiers, sipping straight till we finish with it. For sure, player, grab about 4 Vegas with bottles and black bags, rotating with no chasers. We gon' play it posted like we in the paint. Where the cups grab the ice, bless the bottle and pass the drink. Stay posted on the land, getting busted with my mans, with our cups in our hands. Bless the bottle and pass the drink. Taking shot after shot in the car with a bottle out west, spinning block. Bless the bottle and pass the drink. You can make mine a double, whether yak or the bubbly, don't matter, just keep them coming. Bless the bottle and pass the drink. It's the Chi-Town tradition. Welcome to my city, let me show you how we kick. Bless the bottle and pass the drink. What you finna do? I'm finna get loose, sip on some booze. If you with it, we can kick it.
We all remember our life before COVID-19. The parades, the lakefront barbecues, taste of Chicago, the happy hours, and most importantly, loving those unforgettable moments with our friends and families. Getting Chicago vaccinated is what will make the activities we miss safe for everyone. So let's get back to it, Chicago. Let's come together to end this pandemic. Find your vaccine at chi.gov/COVIDvax.
Dame Lillard, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
Hey, this is Jason Kidd, and we're rocking with the Bigs.
I'm Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks.
WIFTPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio, you're listening to The Bigs with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin.
Let's begin now.
They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, and not because our size, it's the bigs, it's the bigs. They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, and not because our size, it's the bigs, it's the bigs. They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, and not because our size, it's the bigs, it's the bigs. They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, and not because our size.
What's good, everybody? You know what time it is, man. A little late, but we always on time. Never gonna leave our people hanging. We gotta get in front of our family members to give y'all sports fix of the day. You are officially rocking with the Bigs, the illest independent sports media outlet in the land. I'm your man, Terrence Tomlin, coming to you as usual with my brother, Eugene McIntosh. What's good, bro?
What's the Benoski, Fulioski?
It's all good, man. I feel like I'm safely recovering from one of the wildest days in Chicago sports history yesterday, G. What a absolutely crazy day from start to finish in the Chicago sports world, and I can't wait to touch on a little bit of it with you today, bro, before we head into the weekend.
Yes, sir. And it's not over with. We still got about an hour.
I got whiplash, bro.
We got 2 hours and 10 minutes left before things are all said and done, and probably after 3 o'clock, you'll probably still be hearing deals coming through after 3 o'clock because, you know, they still have to be finalized, still have to be the medical terms and the physicals have to be done in order for the things to, you know, go all the way through. But the trade deadline is 3 p.m. today, and teams are going all in. You see the Tampa Bay Rays, the latest news you just put me up on.
Hopefully there's no news behind that when I kind of got a horse in the race now at this point of the trade deadline. But should we give a quick timeline real quick? We got to go back to Thursday. The White Sox finally made a couple of moves. They have a new second baseman.
Eduardo Esco.
Yes, sir. Escobar coming over from the Cleveland Indians. An interdivision trade.
Crazy.
You kind of got the Cleveland Indians to wave a white flag. Terry Francona is taking the rest of the season off to deal with some health issues, so we're wishing him well.
Okay.
But, man, a division race where we thought the Indians would be in it until it was over, they kind of pumping the brakes and saying, nah, we out of it. So started there on Thursday. We come back, that was late Wednesday.
Right.
Come yesterday, the White Sox make a trade for Ryan Tepera. We said on the last episode they needed at least one, but really two. They definitely finally got one at Ryan Tepera. I'm sure you can give me a thorough, scouting report on him in a second. But then things got kind of crazy, bro. Maybe I got to start. We got to shout out our boy Herb Howard. For his first day at Hallis Hall doing the damn thing.
Herb is killing it. Herb is killing it at Hallis Hall, man.
Letting the people know what he sees and hears, man. It's only, first of all, you got to lock in with our boy Herb, holding it down on the Bears beat with Joseph Lewis. Together, they're going to be delivering the coldest Bears content I feel like you ever seen. It's a must that you tap in with the Bigs starting right now. Go over to It's the Bigs on Twitter. Make sure you tap in with Herb, who's reporting live from Lake Forest today. But after that, Gino, I feel like, we were kind of creeping to the news of the day, which is kind of crazy. I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud, but the Cubs traded Anthony Rizzo, a.k.a. Big Folk, shout out to Eugene, to the New York Yankees, man. He's a Yankee back into a pennant race on the East Coast for the Bronx Bombers, bro. So I can't even begin to state what he meant to the Cubs organization. In my 32 years, bro, I don't know if there hasn't been a more important Cub. You know what I mean? Yes, I feel like maybe there have been, I feel like Chris Bryant is better. But as far as the culture goes, Anthony Rizzo is going to sit at the top of the list for a whole bunch of people in the Cubs fan base for a very long time when it comes to their favorite Cub.
True.
It was funny because I saw a kid with an Ernie Banks jersey on at the aquarium the other day, and I had to stop him. I'm like,
black kid?
It was a white kid. And I was like, I know your family knows baseball.
Period.
Period. Right after that, his younger brother had on an Anthony Rizzo jersey,
right.
Bro. And even in that moment, it was perplexing. Before he got traded, I'm like, those are the two
original
Mr.
Mr. Cub and the now Mr. Cub.
It just might be a statue of Rizzo outside of your dig one day. But even if it's not, he's going to be a fixture in celebrations until he checks out. So the chapter is closed, man, on the number 44 for the Cubs. And I thought he gave some great comments before he left the stadium yesterday. We'll talk about that. But then it got even a little crazy. If you stayed up around 11 p.m., you must have forgot, if you didn't dry your tears from what was going on with the Cubs, all the Cubs fans out there. The NBA draft took place last night. And we didn't talk a lot about the Bulls because we know they didn't have a first-round pick. But I remember us saying we got to keep our eyes on what they do because AK is the new sheriff in town. It's a new boss. And lo and behold, bro, our boy Ayo Dosunmu from Morgan Park to Champaign to the United Center. The Bulls picked him with the number 38 pick in the draft, bro. Honestly, Gino, that made my night.
It was only right.
It was only right. And, of course, around pick 30, you start to think, is it possible? Could they actually do it?
Once they got to 35, I said Ayo to the Bulls.
Period. Even if they had to, it's like, yo, that's your guy. They didn't even have to trade up to get him.
Right. Now, if you'd have told me last year, when we traded Wendell and all of those guys for Nikola, and you told me that Ayo would be available in the second round,
still get Ayo.
I'm fine. I'm good with that.
What a win, bro! Like what a win for an organization who is showing us that I feel like good things happen to teams that move the right way. I feel like the mindset of this team, they weren't thirsty. They probably had Ayo circled and probably just said like he's gonna have to fall to us if we get him, and he fell to him.
Right.
And for the first time, I actually believe a Bulls executive when they say, I can't believe he fell to us, because usually we get that. They said that about Wendell Carter. They said it about Bobby Portis. They said it about Kobe White. Exactly. It was like, well, who did you think was going to be there, Gar?
Right.
And John. But at the same time, I feel like this puts them in position to be even more aggressive next week in free agency, which we did talk about, Gino. You know what I mean? I'm excited, bro. And although I feel like, of course, Ayo has, he has his work cut out for him. I feel like what he needs to improve at, he knows. But the number one thing I've always loved about Ayo since the first season we covered him in Morgan Park, he's going to check it off the list. He's going to make his checklist of things he has to work on, and he's going to check them off. He's going to come back with it in his bag, and I feel like it's absolutely ridiculous that he fell that far into the second round for the Bulls to get him. I feel like he's in prime position with an organization where he's going to have the opportunity to make people pay, G. It's always good, from my perspective, for a player to come in with a chip on his shoulder. You know what I mean? And I like the potential that he has, but at the same time, I just feel like in the big picture, it's another solid move for a organization that's still kind of wet behind the ears. You know what I mean? That's still kind of showing us who they are. This is another step in the right direction.
Agreed.
Gar Forman and them, first of all, maybe would have traded the second pick. They probably would have not picked Ayo.
They would have picked Franz Wagner from the University of Michigan.
It's like, fam, this is Chicago. Ayo's draft party is in the city.
Right.
It makes perfect sense. Now, they don't have to go get D Rose. I feel like the D Rose factor, Gino, that we talked about on the last episode, part of him coming back home would have been because he's from, you know what I mean? This is for the fans. It's not 100% a basketball move. This is because I know this fan base loves homegrown talent. So,
but do you think D Rose would be a great teacher to come back and teach and help Ayo grow?
From Derrick Rose's mouth, I feel like he loves the opportunity to bring up the next generation of point guards. We saw him in New York really kind of, take that, seriously. But at the same time, he showed I can ball too. I feel like I feel it going into a D Rose conversation. But the one thing I feel that has been great to see Derrick Rose grow into is a mentor and still kind of develop, new forms of his game at the same time. You know what I mean? The D Rose that we saw last year was like a final phase D Rose that we hadn't seen. You know what I mean? He was working with boundaries aren't the same. He's not high flying, the way he used to be, but you still cannot stop him from getting to the cup.
But I think what you mentioned earlier is key. It's about the free agency and who the Bulls decide. Well, obviously, it's not their final decision who they sign. It's up to the player to want to come through. But I think that's a huge factor in where D Rose ends up. If the Bulls can happen to make a huge splash and sign a big time free agent, I think that bodes well for them and D Rose to come back to the crib with the addition of Ayo and being able to have that someone who can relate directly from a Chicago point guard, because obviously Ayo is going to be a combo guard, but some of those skills that Ayo is lacking D Rose can come in and kind of help him fine tune those skills.
He need to talk to D Rose anyway. You know what I mean?
I'm sure D Rose is if they aren't, it's in the making.
The paths are similar. Yeah, D Rose is the #1 pick, but Ayo has carried this flag since high school. I remember when he was deciding on where to go to college. The conversation was, does he have the oomph, the oomph to stay here and go to Illinois and be the first player in a long time that was like, I'm not going somewhere else. I'm from here. I want to continue to represent and stay, and go to Illinois. He did that. And honestly, he was a model citizen for the Fighting Illini. The state of that program is another conversation, but while he was there, he put them in a space that they hadn't been in years.
And this is a guy who, one thing we know about Ayo, and this is what I told him last night when we got a chance to talk to him, the one thing that I know about you is the commitment and the work ethic is something that can't be questioned, because every time there's been a hurdle for you to, jump over, you've done it and kind of continue to grow. Outside of that last game, and I was out the last tournament game against Loyola, and I asked him about that too. Mm-hmm. Other than that, he was not flawless, but he, like we said, he came from Westinghouse.
Player of the year.
He led a Westinghouse team his freshman year to the,
yes, sir.
to the city.
Let him know. Can't forget that.
Came over to Morgan Park. They won 2 state championships at Morgan Park.
Yes, sir.
Remember he was scoring 50 and
always
60 and 40s.
Yes.
And then, like you said, making that jump to the University of Illinois and kind of restoring the feeling back in Champaign, and then becoming a leader, saying, you know what, I was going to go to the league, but I feel like I can come back here and establish even more of an identity for this. Like you said, who knows what the identity of Illinois is now with him gone, Chin and the other guy going to Kentucky. But, he laid his blueprint, he laid his foundation there. So the work ethic, the commitment, this is a guy who you never see Ayo, you never see him in the tabloids. He's a college kid, but
it's all work.
Yeah, it's all work. He doesn't do much. He doesn't go out. He doesn't hang out. So you're not gonna catch him getting into bar fights and with the gang and all of that. So
I feel like that was my only worry. Looking back on D Rose's career, and I don't want to put them up against each other, and I want you to let me know, what you think about this, Gino. But is it tough? Or how tough is it? Because I know it's tough to be here in your hometown with all of the things that could possibly distract you. Is it some kind of a plus to be able to be away if, say, he got drafted by the Lakers? Would it be a plus for him to be in LA where it's harder to get to him as far as family members that's going to come out of the woodworks, ticket requests, his homies are right there, and not just his guys, but everybody else. Ex-school, ex-schoolmates, they're all right here in his backyard in some kind of way. Is that a thing?
I'm not worried about that, because we know, again, when we've been covering Ayo and knowing Ayo for about 5 to 6 years now, one thing we know is that his family structure is super tight.
It was so cool to see all of them on TV yesterday.
People that we've, like Q, his pops. A guy we've built a cool relationship with over the years.
Man,
about
been there every
step
of the way.
Every step of the way. And also, doing his coaching thing at Morgan Park and the Mac Irvin Fire and everything else he does. But we know that Ayo's family structure is tight-knit, and it's all about family with them. So I think it's actually a plus that he's here. He doesn't have to move his family. They can stay here in the city. Maybe, of course, maybe upgrade the crib.
Oh, that's
take it on out to the burbs somewhere. Live a quiet life.
Another cool thing about D Rose, I stayed in Glenwood. My closest target was the one in Homewood, and we would see D Rose and his mom's all the time.
Because that's what all, even Twan and all of the guys who Kenny, Norm, all of Kendall Gill was from out that way, but most of those guys, they moved to the southern suburb.
Yeah.
and, you know, take their families away from the city. So I think it's perfect for Io and his family that he doesn't have, that he's not in that. And I think if he was in LA or New York or LA, he's one of those kids. Like the family's gonna go with him, but he's one of those those kids who's, you know, he's structured. So I think it's a perfect situation for him. And I also asked him about, you know, I said, man, knowing you, I know for a fact that you don't think it was 37 guys better than you. And he laughed. And, you know, he said, man, I got a checklist. You know, and I'm gonna keep it, you know, like we say at the end of each episode, keep it player. He kept it player, but you know damn well, you know, that's that bulletin board material, man. So I'm itching to see Io. And, you know, they asked Arturis a few questions about why they thought Io was the best pick. And obviously, the few draft analysts had said they thought Io could have been a lottery pick.
Like
a lottery pick
leading up to it. It was like, oh, it's got to be Io here.
Right. After, because I didn't necessarily think Io was a lottery pick even before that game in Illinois. I don't think the game.
I feel like that talk was, you know, it was close to the draft. And then he did have great workouts and interviews.
Right.
You know?
But you know, I didn't think he was a lottery pick. Obviously, I'm not an NBA draft analyst either. But I didn't think he was a lottery pick. I thought he would be somewhere between, easy, 16 to 25. I thought he was a lock-in 16 to 25. So once 25 came, 26, 27, 28, I thought the Denver Nuggets were going to grab him. Then I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at like Jay Billis's next 10 people.
I thought OKC might have grabbed. You know, I'm like,
but I'm looking for squads like that. I'm like, okay, they don't need a guy like Io. Those teams that are really trying to build from the bottom, they don't need Io. So I scratched like 5 teams off once they kept coming up. I'm like, no Io, no Io. But once he got to 35, and I'm like, well, where are we? And I saw 38. I said, okay, 36, 37. If they don't pull this move.
It was a layup. I feel like AK has to just think, like, he has to be thinking of basketball guys like, okay, I made that trade. I would have loved to be in the top, 5. If the lottery balls bounced my way, they didn't. Let's see what happens tonight. And you mean to tell me I get a chance to not only feel a need, but I get to, like, make the fan base happy?
Period.
In the second round?
Period.
He's like, oh, yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah, it's a shoe-in. Like you said, that was a slam dunk, man. That was an easy bunny. And AK, they dunked it, man. So
on the real, Gino.
I'm happy. I'm happy for Io. It's any kid's dream come true to play for their hometown, especially Chicago guys that grew up. Io didn't grow up in the Jordan era. But if you're a Chicago Hooper, you know about Michael Jordan. You know about the 23. And when you
they already dropped the little kid pic with him in the Jordan jersey. His sister tweeted it out this morning.
Okay.
Lil Io with the cursive Chicago 23 jersey.
Ooh, the 80s Mike.
It was written, bro. It was written. But at the same time, this is a kid that I feel like has made his own name everywhere he went. Morgan Park when he was following Charlie Moore.
Yes, sir.
It was some big shoes to fill.
Shout out to Nick Irvin, man. I know Nick and Mike.
Nick? Come on, G.
Nick, Mike, all the guys in Morgan Park. I know that. Yeah. Shout out to them.
That was a big moment. But before the draft, we did get some, a little bit of a shakeup in the NBA. The Washington Wizards and the Los Angeles Lakers made a trade. Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and a few draft picks are going to Washington in exchange for Russell Westbrook, man. One of the most talked about players I feel in the league as far as style of play is going to a team that I feel like is just trying anything, Gino.
Yeah, they might be the worst. That might be the worst shooting starting 5 in the NBA.
I didn't understand it. They didn't have much shooting before it. You know what I mean? They didn't have much shooting with KCP. Before they
who was their shooter?
And if that's your shooter, it's like, yeah, I had a Benny bar in my head, but yeah, bro. Even though I feel like all the pictures are cool, you know what I mean, with Westbrook and LeBron and AD, but I don't know. I feel like we've seen this not work too many times. You know what I mean? It's not a big 3 league anymore. If you're the Lakers, you're still super top heavy, And I feel like we just asked the question right there, Gino. It's like, who else is going to shoot the ball? LeBron's not shooting. Russell Westbrook will shoot. I'm sure he will love to shoot more threes. I don't know how many of them are going in, but I thought that was an interesting move. We saw them talking about Buddy from Sacramento, and I actually thought that would have been a better move. Either for Kyle Kuzma, I think is fair.
So it would have had to been so I was gonna call him Julius Randle. Montrezl Harrell would have had to opt in to his deal for that Buddy Hield. For that Buddy Hield move to work, right? Because who was it? It was Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and 2 picks for Westbrook.
Yep.
So I think, the Buddy Hield deal, it was going to involve Montrezl Harrell. He would have had to opt into his Lakers contract just to be traded to Sacramento. No. So, it's going to be interesting, man. I mean, Russell Westbrook back to the crib. Russ, LeBron, and AD, it sounds great. But when you think about the chemistry and you think about just think about if you remember watching Bradley Beal and the Lakers when they played Bradley Beal and the Wizards when they played the Lakers later on this past year. The way the Lakers guarded Russell Westbrook, they were daring him to shoot the ball.
They were giving him the
giving him 10 to 12 feet. They were backing off of him, daring him to shoot the ball. So it's just interesting to see. I want to see the style of play. I want to see, obviously, they're going to need additions. Like you said, it's all about spacing the floor, driving and kicking. So they're going to need shooting. It's cool that they didn't have to give up Taylor. Obviously, they see some potential, and, they see Taylor continuing to grow as someone that they can, count on and be an even bigger part of the organization and the team chemistry next year. So that was cool to see. But I just want to see how they're going to build around those 3 now, because we've seen, even with KD, James Harden, and Kyrie, even though they were all hurt at some point in time, they really never got to gel together as 3. But that really, just because you got 3 of the best players in the league, really doesn't mean anything. It's about the chemistry. It's about the guys believing in each other. It's about believing in the coach, believing in the system, and actually getting out on the court and displaying that. So, cool move. Sounds cool. I mean, Russ is one of them guys. I'm not really a Russell Westbrook fan like that, but he is one of those guys. Mm-hmm. I think he still got I think he's probably his tank is at half. Obviously, LeBron's tank is, probably on a quarter tank. AD, another guy who can't stay healthy. So it's all about health at the end of the day.
100%. But at the same time, I do think it's a sign that Rob Pelinka doesn't really know what's going on right now. It's like, Rob, come on, bro. You got to fill this team out.
Rob was Kobe's homie, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave that there. Rob as a GM, man.
He was literally Kobe's agent. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that's kind of like when Phoenix brought Shaq over. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you expecting Russell Westbrook to do for you, bro? Like, you just want to be on the bottom the bottom line on ESPN, like he had a triple-double, or you want to be the first team with 2 players that average a triple-double or something with him and LeBron. Like, are y'all trying to win a ship? I just don't know what Russell Westbrook does for that team's championship aspirations, and you have LeBron and AD. You know what I mean? Like, I think a move like Kemba Walker would, a lesser profile, so you can do more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw Woj say that they don't have an opportunity to do much in free agency, but LeBron, I feel like LeBron teams continuously asking players to, like, you'll take a pay cut and possibly win a ring. That's not the case anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take a pay cut and probably go out in the first or second round.
And you're going to take a pay cut and you're going to assume a lesser role.
Exactly. You're going to be riding LeBron's coattail, and that's not – maybe I shouldn't have said that because I feel like LeBron's a good teammate.
Oh, I'm sure he's a good teammate, but you're still going to assume a lesser role when you go to a team with LeBron and AD.
Absolutely.
If that's not already your role.
You probably know what role you're going to be in. It's like, all right, so I got to be the dude to stand in the corner.
Just stand there you go.
Okay, cool, sign me up. Nah, I don't know. I think the days of that are over. Muggs better understand who just won the NBA championship.
And the style of play that's about to take over the game.
middies are back. I mean, Giannis in Milwaukee, bro. Like
even Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix. The Lakers still trying to play the star game, and it's like, all right, Mikal Bridges was out there getting buckets in the finals.
Thank you.
All right, so act accordingly, or the Lakers. I mean, we'll see what happens later, but they're in trouble or at risk of not mattering next season.
So let's go back to the NBA draft last night. I was looking at, so we, BU and DJ, we gave our first number one pick thoughts on who we thought would be the number one pick on Wednesday, and obviously you guys were right with Cade Cunningham. I just kind of jumped off the porch
buffs.
with the Jalen Green,
yeah,
just because, you know, he's a very good player. But obviously Cade Cunningham has been the number one pick since he stepped foot on Oklahoma State's campus. So the Detroit Pistons drafted Cade Cunningham number one. Man, I mean, I think that was the perfect pick for him. I think Cade Cunningham showed exactly who he was at Oklahoma State, and I like what he said when he was talking to, I don't think he was talking to Malika. I think he was talking to the guys at the table, Perk and all of those guys.
Okay.
And he was just basically like, man, you know, I assumed this role at Oklahoma State because I always knew that I could be that guy. And, you know, when it comes down to it, he's like playing in the Big 12. All of our games are usually close. So the games are usually won by 2, 3, 4 points at the most. So when it comes down to the end of the game, I want to be the guy to where the game is decided on me. I decide the game, not necessarily scoring a winning bucket, but having the ball in my hands, making the correct decision. If I got to score it, cool. If I got to find a teammate, cool. But just being the leader of the team. So he said he feels like he could step in and you know, just flow seamlessly into the Detroit Pistons offense. So it's gonna be wild to see him kind of step in and be the man.
Yeah.
Maybe not like LeBron did in Cleveland, but just be able to assume that role where it's like, I mean, they do still have Jeremy Grant is in Detroit, right?
They got their Carlos Boozer.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, yeah, he can come in and fit in with us. Nah, bro, it's his rock
it's
now.
his team, fam. I hope you had a good time shooting up all the balls last year, Jeremy. But yeah, it's definitely
And
the
Sadiq
franchise.
Bey, and couldn't even tell you who else was on the Pistons.
Exactly. I was about. Did you see my eyes? I'm like about to go down the Pistons lineup.
I couldn't if you paid me.
But honestly, that was interesting to me. I'm like, just off his interview, he got me kind of excited for Detroit basketball. I feel like he is, if there's a such thing as a perfect player for an organization, he came out saying, I want to live in Detroit. He came out with the buffs on. I know you know Detroit mugs love their eyewear. But
yeah, when he came out, when he pulled the gazelles out, I said, "Oh yeah,
back on. I'm buffed up, fam.
he just put the D in his back pocket, man." I know the hood. I know the hood
they
was
loved
feeling
it,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
Tell me this: was it him? That's when they asked him what does he see in his NBA career, and he was like, max contracts. And he was like, "Yeah, I see a max contracts. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna be that guy."
Was that him?
Yeah. Then because he was deciding between football and basketball.
No, that was
Jalen Green.
That was Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga.
Suggs. Yeah, Terrell Suggs' brother. That's right. Did you know that was
no?
That's Terrell Suggs' brother.
No,
little brother.
What?
Yeah, and he was deciding between playing football.
Yeah, he was like a 4-star quarterback.
They asked him why he chose basketball, and he was like, because the check is bigger.
Oh, okay.
And I
Smart.
was like, yes, sir.
Smart man.
I'm like, low key, I love it, Joe. Like, go crazy on draft night, fam.
So I see. And we'll get to him, but the Rockets drafted Jalen Green at number 2. Guy played in the G League last year, averaged about 18 a game. He's got a very high upside. You know, they kind of compared him to like a Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine type of guy. Just really basically on a scoring tip.
Super score, yeah.
Yeah, super score, very athletic, can get his shot off at any time. Got a nice little bounce, got a nice little handle, got all the mid-range game. So I think he's another guy who's going to come in. The Rockets are whack, so they need everything they can get. So I think he can come in there, you know. It's all about defense for these guys. They're going to have to learn the defensive schemes in the NBA, basically how to rotate, you know, help side defense. If you can step up and guard your man one-on-one and be a lockdown defender, I mean, that helps too. But these guys being offensive, I guess you would call them stalwarts, you know, they'll probably rely more on the team defense aspect. So it's going to be all about that. I think offensively, you know, these guys, you know, they do enough training, they do enough of that in the summertime. And Jalen Green actually, you know, since he played in the D-League, I think he's got a leg up on those guys who are coming from college because obviously it's a different ball game. So having that year of the G League under his belt, I think that's going to bode well for him in the Houston Rockets. And, you know, he'll be one of those guys probably in the next 2 or 3 years. You may see him in an all-star game.
That would be totally cool. His path to the league is probably, you know, a lot of people are going to follow it. One of the first cats we've seen say nah to the NCAA, I'm going to go the G League route, and it worked out absolutely amazing for him. So shout out to Jalen Green. I know the third pick, but I was wondering, do we have that Kendrick Perkins video? The Mobley, like the I feel like I was laughing a little bit too hard at that one, man. But
yeah, he
completely butchered my man's name.
And that was Moses Moody, and he wasn't. He was like the last pick of the lottery, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was the last pick in the lottery.
I
Golden State.
I wanted the name, and I butchered names, Gino. But man, oh man, that was special.
We'll get to that. We'll get to him.
So yeah,
the Cavaliers drafted Evan Mobley, the big guy from USC.
Another cat could be the face of the franchise.
Yeah, he should be. The Cleveland Cavaliers, another team that's basically whack. I mean, they got Darius Garland.
Mm-hmm.
They got the other guard that
they
killed the Bulls.
Before.
What's his name? Somebody in the comments, what's the other guard's name from Cleveland? That's bogus.
It is Cleveland. You know what I mean? I feel like I know exactly who you know what I mean? I'm seeing him in my head. But you know what I mean? Darius Garland. They drafted him the year before they got
did.
him.
The little guy with the Come on, y'all. Come on, comment section before I gotta look it up.
I'm gonna go ahead and find it first.
Damn, that's bogus. I got it on the tip of my tongue, bro.
Colin Sexton.
Colin Sexton. Sorry, Colin Sexton. That was bogus because you are a very good player.
He is.
He showed improved last season.
He did kill the Bulls, yeah.
But I think that's a great addition. They definitely need work up top. Losing Andre Drummond to the Lakers is definitely a wide open spot in the middle, and I think Evan Mobley is one of those guys who, he's 7 feet. He can guard every position. He's athletic. He's mobile. He's one of those bigs who can get up and down the court. I think he has a piece of a guard skill, but I definitely want to see him become one of those Kevin Garnett, type of guys who uses defense to anchor everything else. I think he's skilled enough offensively around the rim, and he can step out enough to, put in 12 to 14 points, maybe 10 to 12 points his rookie year in Cleveland. But it's all about the growth. With a lot of these players, it's going to be mostly on the player development and the time that these teams take to grow and develop their players. So Evan Mobley can be one of those guys protecting the rim, getting out, rim running, posting, running down, sealing on the block, dunking the basketball. Old school bigs, man. Like, he'll put on a little weight just because he's going to have to because, it's grown men out there. It's not college anymore. But I think it was who else were the Cavaliers going to get? He was the best player available. So I think that was a good move by them. And like you said, they got the backcourt already, Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. I think that's pretty good. Is Jared Allen in Cleveland? I think Jared Allen is. So, learn from Jared Allen.
Got a vet.
A big guy who does big man things.
Period.
Block shots, runs.
Period. Does it all. Nice motor. Absolutely. Definitely a good dude to learn from.
Yeah, so
he gonna learn to stay active early.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. And that's something that you got to do as a big, man. You stay active, you team defense, you help those guards, you know, even though, you know, now it's getting to the lane and driving and kicking, but, you know, they're going to be those times where they're going to need him to, you know, play big down there, defend the rim and get it off the glass and go. So,
man, it seemed like it was a pretty deep draft last night.
It was names that, and I watched a lot of college basketball, so every time I heard one of those names, you know, I can remember watching these guys. So when you say the Raptors drafted Scotty Barnes at number 4, this is a guy, you know, Leonard Hamilton. Shout out to Leonard Hamilton, Florida State head coach. Guy puts guys in the league every year. So Scotty Barnes, there was talk about him all season being a lottery pick and one of the top 5 picks. And if you saw him play, he wasn't flashy. You know, I think he's going to have to work on his shooting, but he has everything else. He's like 6'8", 6'9". He got guard skills, can see the floor. Said he watches Magic Johnson highlights all the time, so you already see where his head is. And, you know, he's just got that knack. I remember watching a game specifically one night where he hit a game winner. It was like a Euro floater off the glass. And it was good. So that was like really the first time I was hip to him. So anytime I would see Florida State play, I'm like, man, let me check on Scotty Barnes and, you know, see exactly what's to him. But he, you know, he was a pretty good defender. He's got some length. But again, it's all about the development. And, you know, with the Raptors, obviously Pascal, you know, Kyle Lowry is probably on the go. They got Fred Van Fleet's going to be there. Nice. Yeah. He's a leader. But when you think about Pascal Siakam, you know, he wasn't happy in Toronto with Nick Nurse.
He's on the block.
Yeah, so he's ready to go. So I think, you know, it's open season for Scotty Barnes. The Raptors, they're probably not a playoff team. So it'll be interesting to see what role he comes in with and how they, again, player development, how they develop him. And if they just throw him right in the fire because they're not really playing for a playoff spot, or if they take their time, you know, and see exactly, you know, how they want to use him.
And Nick Nurse is a great coach over there. So, you know, you're not really super worried about, I mean, you're feeling like that's a good situation for him for sure.
Number 5, your boy Jalen Suggs. I think the first 5 picks were kind of set in stone. Maybe not Scotty Barnes. I feel like Jalen Suggs wasn't a good pick for the Raptors just because, you know, they got Fred Van Fleet. And I feel like Jalen Suggs is that, you know, that point guard that, you know, can lead the future. But, I mean, they got Markelle Fultz, right? Don't the Magic have Markelle Fultz?
Yes, indeed.
So, again, what role does Jalen Suggs play? I think, obviously, we know what he did at Gonzaga. We know, you know, he was a 4-star quarterback in high school, so he's got the toughness. You know, we saw what he did at Gonzaga. We saw the game winner he hit to send them to the NCAA championship last year, so we know he has the it factor. We know he's a steady point guard. He does everything well. He did on a college level. So, you know, coming to Orlando, another team who kind of gutted their team basically when they let Vucevic go and, you know, brought Wendell in and, you know, let Evan Fournier go to Boston. So they're rebuilding. So it'd be cool to see. I mean, Orlando isn't a bad place to go. Well,
I'm about to say, excuse me, Gino.
Yeah, I know,
Because
right?
in the second round when Orlando came up, I'm like, please don't draft Ayo. Don't do that to my boy.
But that's another team who I felt like they don't need Ayo to Sumu. Ayo needed to go to a team that's halfway there or a team that's almost there. And he doesn't have to come in and be an immediate impact. Even though I think for the Bulls he will be. He can be and will be.
He'll have his opportunity.
Yeah, he'll have the opportunity. It's up to him to come in. I think what he does well works well for the Bulls, and we can talk about that. But then when you get to Josh Giddey, like, I wasn't really familiar with the kid. He played in the Australian NBL.
I saw that. No, I wasn't familiar.
Yeah, so that was, you know, like, okay, I don't know about him. Jonathan Kuminga. Now, I did hear about him, and they were saying that Jonathan Kuminga actually had number 1 pick potential.
I saw them say that.
Yeah, but obviously you can't pass on Cade Cunningham. But I don't know. Did he play? Where did he play? He played in the G League. So he was another one of those guys who, you know, he's a power player, like 6'8", rim running, dunking everything, high motor. So, going in there in Golden State, it's perfect for the Golden State Warriors. They need another one of those guys. When you think about Steph and Clay coming back, hopefully Clay comes back fully healthy. You got the shooters, so now it's all about the intangibles and the guys who are going to do the other things. Golden State, they're a good defensive team, so I think that bodes well for Kuminga being able to come in and be an immediate asset to Steve Kerr. So, I think that was another perfect pick for the Golden State Warriors.
100%. Definitely, the rich get richer. I definitely like what Golden State is doing, with Jonathan Wiseman last year.
Right.
But yeah, the Golden State Warriors, and then, like you said, Gino, they get Clay back. We'll see what they do in free agency.
Right.
If I saw a couple of rumors that they were trying to package Wiseman.
Did you see the Ben Simmons
For
trade?
Ben Simmons, yeah.
I saw a lot. I saw like 50%. I saw like half of the people saying that was the Golden State Warriors were dumb for not making the trade.
And
then the
Philly
other half was
stupid.
saying, and I'm like,
because they already got Embiid.
It's like Wiggins, Wiseman, and both of our first round picks for Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons, yeah. I don't know if you're going to get a better package than that if that was the package. You know what I mean?
No, they said Golden State told Philly they were tripping. Like, man, are you crazy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I saw people saying that Golden State was tripping
for
not taking the trade.
Oh, they wild. No way. That's totally, did y'all see Ben Simmons hoop?
They said you talking about an unproven rookie, half-baked.
Unproven rookie?
Yeah, a half-baked two-guard and Andrew Wiggins and 2 first-round picks. I'm like, yeah. For Ben Simmons?
Yeah, who can't score.
Now, when I think about it, when I look at it on the other end, it's like, okay, I understand why. Like, if you threw Ben Simmons in that lineup with Clay, Steph, Draymond.
But who was handling the ball?
But that's
Draymond.
No,
Steph.
Yeah, because how do you restrict? Because Draymond did a lot of the ball handling.
Yeah, they like him at the top of the key.
And Steph, so it would be like now you split the ball handling duties between 3 guys, but then how does Ben Simmons fit off the ball?
They could not have 2 players that can't score. And Draymond and Ben Simmons. 2 absolute liabilities on offense.
And at least Draymond will shoot it though.
But it's going to be terrible.
Oh, it's going to be terrible.
Get bored, okay? Rebound. Remember that did he airball the layup in the play-in game last year?
Chris said they wanted 2 future first rounders too. So they wanted
It's like, do y'all
James
think y'all
Wiseman,
Embiid or Tobias Harris.
They wanted Wiseman,
no
Wiggins.
I'm done at Wiseman. No way. You know what I mean? Like you're not. If you're Ben Simmons in the Sixers right now, you're probably just going to get picks. I don't know about. Did you give up your first draft pick for Ben Simmons? No, not after he showed you that he absolutely just won't shoot the ball in the playoffs. It's like, no, I saw you play. I'm not trading anything of any value. Not even for your defense, because it ain't like your defense is going to make us the best defense in the league. Because his defense is kind of cap worthy too. I feel like people be lying about him on defense.
Who?
As far as his reputation of being like one of the top defenders in the league.
Ben?
Yeah.
Ben said he was the best defender in the league.
Stop playing.
Trey gave you a 40-pack.
I'm saying, stop playing, bro.
The Magic had the 8th pick. They drafted Franz Wagner from Michigan. Mo Wagner's little brother.
Yep.
Whatever. Cool. As long as it went to the Magic, fine. The Kings at 9, Davion Mitchell from Butler.
You got to tell me about him.
Oh, man, he played that. He was a mixture like D-Wade, and I don't mean like offensively D-Wade, but he just had the D-Wade, the D-Wade swag, but he was like Donovan Mitchell. I thought like it was Donovan Mitchell's little brother, to be honest, or cousin or something, because they had like the same style of play. Dude was like 100 miles an hour up the floor. He was the key to that Baylor championship
And who
team.
is this?
Davion Mitchell.
Who drafted him?
The Sacramento Kings at number 9.
They got De'Aaron Fox.
But Davion, I think he'll be like a 2 guard.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me see what he's what he's measured at. Oh, 6'1". So maybe he'll come in backing up De'Aaron, but I mean he's somebody who
unless De'Aaron, is
on the move.
Yeah, I mean De'Aaron Fox is going into his 4th, 5th year. I don't know if they love Marvin Bagley or
Yeah, I'm not sure if they love Marvin Bagley, bro.
I don't know what the Kings are doing, honestly, bro. Or Luke Walk, is Luke still over there?
Yeah, Luke.
I don't know.
Luke is still there, man. De'Aaron Fox, didn't he just sign a max deal?
I believe he did.
De'Aaron Fox signed a max contract for 163 M's over 5 years, which starts this season.
Also, it was the extension kicks in. Okay.
So Davion Mitchell will come in backing up De'Aaron Fox.
Don't they got Tyler? Who he was a runner-up for Rookie of the Year, Tyler Halliburton.
Oh, Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, they do.
So it's kind of.
But I think Tyrese Halliburton could be a combo guard because he can score the ball.
Yeah, and he filled in.
He filled in for De'Aaron when he was hurt. Yeah. So that's interesting. Again, player development. Where does Davion Mitchell fit? Obviously, I don't think he's a starter coming in as a starter on any team in the NBA. So player development is going to be key with him. But I think that was a good pick for him specifically at 9 for the Kings. The Pelicans drafted Zaire Williams, who was officially traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. Do you remember Zaire Williams played with Amari Bailey and D-Wade's son at Sierra Canyon?
I did peep that, and he bounced around a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he went to Stanford for a year and then made himself eligible for the draft.
Yeah, and then did he get traded? He got traded yesterday, right?
To the Grizzlies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the Pelicans Grizzlies Zion Ja complex is going to be interesting, I feel, because they traded Valanciunas, which was Ja's best, well, at least last season, his most talented teammate. Now you got Zaire Williamson, who I'm looking forward to him playing with Ja. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a silky smooth guy. He's like 6'8", 6'9", probably 180, 185, so he's going to need to put on a little bit of weight, but he's silky smooth, can shoot it.
Yeah, man.
He can get out in transition and run. He should be able to defend.
That's key. I think that's going to be key with Ja, so.
Yeah, so good move for them. I was surprised to see him because they had, I don't know, was it Overtime or one of those YouTube channels that had a special on Zaire Williams. Both of his parents served in the military, and he's an A student, so good kid, very good kid, raised well. So I think that serves well and bodes well for any young kid that's done a year or coming out of high school or spending a year in the G League coming to the NBA. I feel like having that background and having that structure will serve him well going forward.
I got a quick interruption. Pardon the interruption. I got a update.
Roster move.
Not a roster move. It's some rumblings.
Okay.
From David Kaplan. Some Craig Kimbrell news. Multiple sources have confirmed that the Cubs and the White Sox are continuing to have discussions that would send Craig Kimbrell to the South Side. The price is steep. And there are several suitors, but they are talking. Stay tuned for the next 2.5 hours. That, real quick, Gino, that's the move I need the White Sox to make.
So yesterday, one of the fans said that Rick Hahn needs to stop shopping at the dollar store. And Steve Stone retweeted it and said, please.
and honestly, as a White Sox fan, we got caught early on in the day thinking that those were really good moves. You know what I mean? Like about half the day in, I'm like, did we keep the receipt? Okay, because we need more. Like, you need to aim higher. I was telling the homie Drake, I was like, I said they needed 2 arms and an infielder. That's changed. They still need 2 arms. They got their infielder.
Now they need
more power, bro.
Yep.
They need more power. And I know Luis is coming back. But these mugs out here are stacking the deck, bruh. I have never seen baseball like this. Like, if you're not a fan of baseball, These games after this trade deadline is over are about to be amazing. It's about to be like three, four like Megatron teams that they just put together to be like incredidible.
And that's the thing, and we'll get to the because we're gonna talk Ryan Tepera.
Yeah, my bad. I interrupted.
No,
with the news.
It's cool. I mean, we're gonna get to that in 1 second. As far as the NBA draft, though, when you think about everybody after Zaire Williams, I mean, the Hornets drafted James Bouknight at 11, which was a good pick for them. He had a very good draft camp, so I think he can come into Charlotte and fit right in there and definitely give them some much needed offensive power to go in the backcourt with LaMelo. See about Miles Bridges and what they do with Scary Terry and my other guy Devontae Graham and Gordon Hayward. I think the Hornets that was a great pick for them. But then the rest of the guys, Joshua Primo at 12 for the Spurs, Chris Duarte from the Pacers at 13, Mosey Moody. Shout out to Kendrick Perkins. I don't want to get our video flagged again like we did the other day.
With the Simone action.
Yeah, we're going to have to lay off playing the clips. But, yeah, Kendrick Perkins butchered Moses Moody's name for about 8 seconds until
that was impressive. I was wondering if he was doing it on purpose.
I thought he was too, but we've seen Perk tweak a lot of times. So
and what's funny is because I was going back and forth between a couple of the live stream from Lollapalooza and the draft, and when Jonette heard Kendrick Perkins talking, she just looked at me like, "Who is that?"
Yeah, Sepia can't stand the man.
Talking about the destination, and she started talking about his accent. I'm like, that's Kendrick Perkins, one of the most southern mugs that you're gonna find on TV these days.
Yeah, he was talking about Jalen Green, and he was saying all of the positives, and he was basically saying that he's marketable, and he said, yeah, and he's markable.
He's marketable. She was laughing at the way he said mentality. His mentality. His mentality. I'm like, gee.
Yeah, Perk is something else, man.
He has a River Strong mentality. I'm like, yeah, Perk.
That's that Beaumont, Texas swag, man.
Carry on.
Yeah. Carry the hell on.
Carry the hell on. Yeah, that I had a good laugh at that one. But I'm like, gee. They on the commercial break, they should have told him, here comes Perk. Comes that name.
Get ready. Moody.
It wasn't even a tough name.
Moses Moody. Yeah, Moses Moody. Like Perk. All right, bro.
And did you hear the person cut in like, it's Moses
Moody, man. Yeah, Moses Moody. Moody.
Needed that one.
But the Warriors picked Moody at 14. Corey Kispert, the kid from Gonzaga. Think that was a good pick for the Wizards. Not sure where the Wizards are headed, but I like Corey Kispert. That's what I'm saying. For him, I felt like that was a good pick for him. Felt like he fell exactly because he was in the running for Player of the Year. You see how far Luka Garza fell?
Oh, yeah.
And he was
second round?
Like towards the end of the second round.
Yeah, definitely peaked.
So, some guys 16 that I don't know, Alperen Sengun, Trey Murphy at the Grizzlies for 17, Trey Mann for the Thunder at 18. I remember him from University of Florida. I caught a few of those games this year. He was pretty good. Kai Jones to the Knicks. Jalen Johnson, 20 for the Hawks. Jalen Johnson is the kid from Duke who left Duke early and, faced the criticism talking about he was a loser and all of that. Joke's on you. First round pick guaranteed.
What is wrong with fans, bruh? Like, what is wrong?
Well, this was a writer. I forget. It was a writer.
Them too.
Yeah, they started it.
Did you see the Henry Abbott and Dame Lillard?
Dame be ready to pull up. If Dame wasn't in Tokyo, he about would have pulled up on Buddy and let the letter O show. Dame be on that, man. He'll pull up on you, man.
He told him, be careful, and Dan was like, be careful.
That's why I'm like, that's pull up talk. When you tell me and BC was talking about this, please be careful with this pull up talk.
Exactly. That's a threat, fam.
Yeah.
And I'll see that.
But that's what's
I'll see that threat with another one.
Right. And that's why we gotta check these vultures, man. And more of the reason why them guys need to be in tune with guys like us instead of guys like them.
You gotta correct it, redirect it, or chastise it, okay?
Okay.
Gino. But even with Russ Dorsey, I mean, shout out to our brother Russ Dorsey, him and the Cubs fans.
Pull
today.
up. Today?
Yeah, today about the Rizzo trade. His mentions are in shambles right now with Cubs fans telling him that he's a hack. What
did Russ? So how did it start?
He said Cubs fans are spoiled.
Okay.
Because they're coming at him and mad that they weren't buying at the deadline instead of selling. And Russ is like, fam, have y'all been watching the last 3 years? Like, they didn't make the playoffs in 19. They got put out in the first round last year.
In the pandemic playoffs last year.
It was not working anymore.
Right.
It's time to sell. They at his head because of that.
Okay.
You don't know what you're talking about. You only been a beat reporter for 5 minutes.
And you haven't been a beat reporter at all.
At all, brother. Never, ever. Oh, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah, fans are definitely on one over the last couple of days. Y'all gotta relax
before you get pulled up on and get something that you didn't think was possible.
On a Dame Lillard tip,
you gonna tell the source that he's lying?
Yeah, you did say that, Dame. Somebody told me you said that. I'm like, but here's Dame saying, no, that ain't true. Even if he's lying, gee, like.
You gonna tell
you
the
don't
source.
call him a liar. Like, he's worried about a dude calling him a liar. You calling Dame a liar.
And then talking about my name is True Hoops and my name is based in truth.
What's the Dr. Umar gif that you be throwing around? Like, dude. And
please be careful. Okay.
Pick the right one with Dame for sure. So
yeah, Dame was ready to pull up, man. But yeah, for the rest of the NBA draft, Keon Johnson, 21 for the Knicks. Isaiah Jackson, 22 for the Lakers. Usman Garuba, 23 for the Rockets. Josh Christopher, 24 for the Rockets. Rockets had 3 first-round picks, huh? The Clippers drafted Quentin Grimes. That was a good pickup for him. What school did Quentin Grimes come from? I remember him. Houston. I remember him from the NCAA tournament. They had a pretty good run in the NCAA tournament. So good pickup for the Clippers there. Nashawn Highland for the Nuggets at 26. That's the kid from VCU. So that was a good pickup for them. I think he was A-10 player of the year. Cameron Thomas, 27 for the Nets. Jaden Springer, 28 for the Sixers. Day'Ron Sharp, 29 for the Suns. And Santi Aldama, 30 for the Jazz, and that was the kid from Loyola, Maryland. Now, you know who a surprising pick for me in that second round? The Magic number 33, Jason Preston, the kid from Ohio University. Do you remember when University of Illinois played Ohio at the beginning of the season and Buddy had the triple-double, light-skinned kid with the freckles?
I peeked when he got drafted. I remembered him.
Man, that was cool as hell to see, man. Like, man, he basically, like you talk about the roads to getting here.
Yeah, man.
And his role basically barely playing high school basketball, being a fill-in on the road in the AAU tournament because they didn't have enough players. And the coach was like, bro, can you come and hoop?
Some.
And he showed
to the
out
Buckeyes.
Not Ohio State University, Ohio University.
Oh yeah. So
the green and white school,
the Greenbergs at old school.
Yep. So and watching him, like I said, single-handedly destroy Illinois at the beginning of the year, I'm like, this dude is cold. He got like triple-double potential. So once again, player development. How does he come in and fit in with the Orlando Magic? Obviously, second-round players, it's no guaranteed contracts. You got to come in and make the team. But I think this is a kid who the sky's the limit for him. I definitely think, he'll probably spend a year in the G League developing, but I see NBA career in his future. But, yeah, other than that, man, like we said, Ayo fell right in the lap of the Bulls at 38. Looking at the rest of the league, Sharif Cooper, he was highly touted, drafted 48 by the Hawks. Luka Garza, who we talked about, player of the year at University of Iowa, big guy. I think he lost like 25 to 30 pounds, so be interesting to see him. He's going to the Pistons with Cade Cunningham, so that could be good for Cade, having a big guy down there who you can dump it off to and get you a bucket. BJ Boston, drafted by the Grizzlies, reportedly traded to the Clippers via the Pelicans. B.J. Boston was the other kid that played with Zaire Williams, with Amari Bailey and those guys at Sierra Canyon. But remember, his buddy, Terrence Jackson, the kid that died from Kentucky. Did you see the tribute?
That was Terrence Clark.
Terrence Clark, excuse me. Did you see the tribute? Great move by Adam Silver in the NBA.
It was a must for sure.
But I think B.J. Boston, I think he fell down to 51. I don't think he was fully there, like in pre-draft workouts. I think he was still, kind of lost in the sauce because of his best friend. I'm pretty sure they had dreams.
I seen his Twitter, at the draft and everything, he was saying this was supposed to be his day.
See, so I think that affected his pre-draft workouts. He's still a very talented kid, so I think the Grizzlies came up grabbing him at 51. But yeah, the fact that this boy, who he had dreams of probably being in the NBA draft with, I think that affected him tremendously in his pre-draft workout. So it was good to Memphis Grizzlies got him at 51. And after that, I was pretty much didn't know anyone else in the NBA draft. So good draft last night, man. I was happy. Good, happy, always happy for these kids, to witness their dreams come true. And now it's about them putting in the work, man. So the work begins immediately today. Most of those guys are going to be in their cities, doing their press conferences, getting used to the city. And tomorrow it's probably going to be all about basketball. You know how quick Summer League comes. I think Summer League starts in a week.
Yeah, man. I already seen Io, August 4th.
Wow, August 4th?
Will be his first Summer League game in Vegas with the Bulls.
Bro, you got 5 days, so you're going to come in there, get the physicals done, get all of that done.
Here's your jersey.
Here's your jersey. Let's get to work. So shout out to all of the kids whose dreams came true last night.
Absolutely. Definitely all the kids that's about to go undrafted to try to prove everybody wrong. We're rooting for you too.
Yeah, man. Get that money. Get them guaranteed contracts, man.
Absolutely.
Now let's go back. Let's
rewind.
Let's take a rewind and let's go back, man. So we talked about the trade deadline and we talked about the needs of the Chicago White Sox. And on the soil, as far as the Sox were concerned, we said they definitely positively needed 2 right-handed arms in that bullpen. Especially they got a lot of young guys in that bullpen, so you need some vets. Is it Evan Marshall? Is that his name?
He's a little hurt.
Right.
He's a little hurt, and the word is that he's not ready to come back. So
you need those veteran arms down there to go with some of those young guys. And I think adding Ryan Tepera, who for the most part on the north side this season, he was lights out. When when the starters passed that ball, it was Ryan Tepera, Andrew Chafin, and Craig Kimbrell, 3 guys who probably Ryan Tepera is gone. Andrew Chafin was the second one gone after Jock Peterson, and obviously Craig Kimbrell, who was probably the biggest free agent
looking
signing.
At the clock.
Yeah. So I think Ryan Tepera, he may have been affected by the sticky stuff.
Don't say that to me, Gene.
Because his performance,
you think it was affected by it?
I don't want to put that on him.
But it did something different.
But when that was put into play, Ryan Tepera's next few outings were totally different than could have been all-star Ryan Tepera. So he did come back in his last 2 outings before the trade, and he was stellar. So he did look pretty good, but good pickup for the White Sox, man. That's definitely a great addition to that bullpen, and I think him talking about Liam Hendricks hitting him up. They were previous teammates, so he said having a familiar face around town and not having to move, still being able to stay in his apartment. He's gonna have to put his whip to use. He said he was taking a scooter. He was riding a scooter to the ballpark, but he was like, "Hey man, now I just got to get in my whip and drive 15 minutes south." So
yeah,
be great to see him over there on the south side, playing for a winner and being an addition to a team making a playoff run.
He was most def needed. Hopefully he's bringing some friends. And Craig Kimbrell, my bad, Perk. But
Kimbrell,
the Brails, no. But a bunch of the Twins just traded Barrios to the Toronto
I
Blue
saw
Jays.
that. Jose Barrios.
Yeah, Jose
got him out of the
Barrios.
division, huh?
Yeah, man. And I've seen at least 4 of his starts so far this year. But so it's a lot of moving pieces. Chris Bryant is still out there, Gino. And I feel like if you're talking Craig Kimbrell, then you have to be talking a package of them both. We saw Scherzer and Trey Turner, bro.
And as far as Max Scherzer is concerned, man, I thought about him signing that 7-year, $210 million deal with the Nationals back in the day.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Nationals got the max out of Scherzer.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a guy who's probably
Just
been the best pitcher in baseball.
He was going to give them everything he had.
Yeah, his numbers are insane. So for the Dodgers to continue to do what they do, the Yankees
they got Trey Turner though.
Yes,
with
bro.
him.
And they're not done.
What in the hell, bro?
And they got Danny Duffy.
I'm like that is a lot. You know what I mean? It's like the Dodgers are just like the what was the Transformers whenever, or was that the Power Rangers, G? The Megazord. The Megazord, when they all came together and just made this one unstoppable force.
Hey man, big market teams spend money, man.
Spending what? How many millions on the team?
However many millions we got, spend it.
Shout out to LA Dodgers fans. You got an organization that doesn't care how much it costs. Shout out to the Padres fan base as well. Because I really liked when they were like the ass of the league.
And now there's talk about Chris Bryant and Craig Kimbrell going to San Diego, possibly, the Cubs taking on Eric Hosmer's contract and getting a couple of...
Look, and you said that. Look, like I said, I liked them much better when the Padres were an afterthought.
But you see how quick the turnaround came.
Now they're going to be good for years.
Yeah, man. So, interesting stuff, man. We got about an hour, 2 hours and 3 minutes before the trade deadline hits. So, Cubs Nation, get ready for your team to look totally different than they have for the past few years.
Go ahead, tell them get those tissues ready because
Chris Bryant, I personally saw him with the New York Mets.
Don't do that, Gino.
But Francisco Lindor is hurt, so
both the guys going to New York. Maybe
Javier Baez. Don't forget that Javi is still there. And you heard him the other day said if there's one place I would go and I would play second base, I would go play with my boy Francisco Lindor, and I would give up my shortstop position.
But yeah, if I was an opposing team and I saw them trade Rizzo first, I'm definitely going after Javi. I'm like, oh, so it's real. Here's I want Javi.
Just tell me what you want.
Yeah, period. Yeah, I'm sure Jed has been one of the busiest guys in the league right now.
Hey, this boy Kenneth Steele said Kendrick Perkins is if James Brown and Willie Wilson had a son. Hey, so before we get out of here, man, big shout out to big folks Anthony Rizzo, man.
Yes,
much love to Big Riz, man. He's definitely one of the first to lead the charge in that 2016 World Series run. Like you said, Ernie Banks was the original Mr. Cub. I think Anthony Rizzo has been the modern day Mr. Cub. 242 home runs, 784 RBIs, 276 doubles, a 272 career average in 1,308 games as a Cub, 6th on the all-time home run list, 10th in extra base hits, 13th in doubles, and 19th in games played in club history. So definitely worthy of Hall of Fame, Cubs Hall of Fame status. He would definitely be loved and remembered. And don't forget, this could just be a rental for the New York Yankees trying to make a run at the championship. The Cubs have the chance to sign Anthony Rizzo at the end of the year. So Cubs fans, I'm leaving y'all with that. I'm giving you guys a glimmer of hope. Don't give up on Anthony Rizzo. Chris Bryant is a free agent. Javier Baez is a free agent. Jed Hoyer, Tom Ricketts. I know Tom Ricketts is worried more about Rickettsville than building a winning culture over here. But we are not going back to that lovable losers slogan. It's not all about just coming and enjoying the atmosphere at Wrigley Field. It's about witnessing some winning baseball. So with that being said, man, we will keep you guys abreast in the next 2 hours for what happens on the north side. T will keep you guys abreast of what's happening on the south side.
We cooking up, y'all. I got you.
But yeah, man, we gonna get up out of here, man. We will see you guys Monday. We will be back down on the soil. So for my partner T-Tom, for Ron Rilla holding us down behind the boards.
Yes, sir.
It's the bigs. You know how we do over here, man. Show love, spread love, stay away from the haters. Continue to keep it player. Circulate the dollar with your people, but most importantly, always, always continue to keep it player, man. There's a lot of unplayer individuals running around rapping out here, and y'all making the brothers look bad. So it's up to players like us to keep this thing moving. So in the words of the late, great Chad Butler, poet laureate, known to most of y'all as Pimp C.
I call him the pimp, y'all.
I'm going to give it to y'all today, man. And me and T had a laugh yesterday, and I'm going to keep this between me and him. But a lot of you guys, man, and it's some guys that we know. Hey, man, get off the boo-boo. We out.
It's us.
WIIFTVPN.
2 million followers, Joe.